Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. You are watching Boosted Posts in 2026, turning organic reach into measurable ROI. How strategic post boosting drives awareness, reach, and revenue without huge ad budgets. I am John Rickey, strategic lead at Emory Day, and with me we also have Kenny Norton, the director of advertising at Emory Day. How are you doing today, Kenny?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here.
Yes.
Without wasting anybody else's time, we're just going to get right into it. So let's move on, and we'll tell you a little bit about Emory Day once I hit the next button. Kenny, if you would, tell us about Emory Day.
All right. Every day is the best of Every day is the best of professionals, technology, and AI. We've been growing businesses for over 20 years. We do this as a full service marketing agency where we specialize in local search, websites, email content, social media, e-commerce, pay-per-click advertising, and light SEO. We have a lead generation platform that serves thousands of clients and allows us to help you grow your business. And we do this cost effectively using comprehensive marketing to generate traffic, which converts to customers. At Emory Day, we do help businesses thrive, whether you're aiming to increase revenue or preparing to sell your business. We've done this for over 19 years, and we've helped businesses get 50% increase in service calls and up to 2,687 quotes in 4 months from a simple Facebook campaign.
We've been doing this for years, and we have a lot of data to back it up.
And we also have an AI-powered dashboard that helps you scale your marketing, provides some visibility to how your campaigns are performing, and it helps you close more business.
All right. And without further ado, we'll just jump right into it. So let's start off with, what is a boosted post? So we know a lot of people right off the bat might not know what a boosted post actually is. So in layman's terms, a boosted post is a post that you posted organically and that you are now giving some form of ad dollars on, depending on your platform. So common platforms that you might boost a post on are Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and it'll help you amplify that content that's already been published organically. So you don't need any sort of ads manager or ads manager experience to launch boosted posts. They're very user-friendly. Anybody with a Facebook account and a credit card can start launching them. And it's best used on posts that already perform well. If you post 5 times a week and one post really got some good engagement versus some that really didn't go anywhere, you'd only really want to boost the post that got the most engagement overall. And then ultimately, boosting is helpful for increasing your awareness, driving traffic to key pages in your funnel, and of course, generating conversions. So the benefits of boosting posts overall: fast visibility. You can go ahead and get your boosted posts up pretty fast. Whereas with a traditional marketing and advertising campaign on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, you need to create your own dedicated assets. You need to create all those, get them approved, and launch them individually. Whereas with a boosted post, the second you've created that post and launched it organically, it is now ready to be boosted. Literally just go into whatever the platform is, tell it you want to boost it, give it some different functions of how you want to target people, your budget, how long you want to boost it for, and it's already off to the races. Easy to launch. Like I said, they require minimal setup, and you can get them going with small budgets. We're talking literally $5 a day, give or take, per post that you want to boost. Target specific. So boosting allows you to reach audiences by location. So maybe they're in the New York City area, and that's all you want to target. Their interests, maybe they like hiking, for example, and you sell hiking shoes. And also roles in companies as well. Maybe you're a B2B and you need to only hit people who are maybe in an IT role. You can do all of that with boosted posts. Stronger credibility. So popular organic posts help reinforce your boosted post messaging with engagement and social proof. So like I said earlier, if you have posts that are already doing well organically, those are the ones that you want to boost because they've already got that stronger social proof of being an interesting post that people cared about. And then more lead potential. So boosting is a phenomenal way to boost the top of your funnel. And what that means primarily is warming people to your brand who maybe haven't heard of your brand, don't necessarily know what you are or who you sell to. And one of the most recent stats that I find very interesting for boosting is, on average, boosted posts generate 3 times the reach and 5 times the engagement of organic posts. For roughly $5 a day, give or take the platform and what you're trying to do, you cannot beat that. So what to expect when boosting posts. So boosting will help you build momentum. People who engage once are more likely to see your future content, and that will help drive lasting results and audience reach over time. So let's talk about time frames and like how long you might want to boost a post, what you can expect it to do in that time frame, and so on. So the first 24 to 48 hours, you're really looking at getting more impressions and more reactions overall. That next 3 to 5 days, that's really where you're going to see more clicks, shares, and message clicks come in, depending on exactly what your boosted post call to action is. If you boost for about 1 to 2 weeks, you can start seeing leads and building retargeting audiences off of those. And then if you keep a boosted post ongoing, it can really help with brand lift, brand trust, and whole funnel benefits. So there's no right or wrong way for how long you should be boosting a post. There's not one size that fits all. If a post is relevant to you and it's a good post that it got good traction and people are very interested in it, keep it going. Treat it like an ad campaign at that point until you determine it's just not doing what you want it to do. So best practices for boosting like a pro. Start with a strong organic post. Choose content that's already getting good engagement. Boosting is not something where you try to force something that was not engaging from the start. You pick the cream of the crop first and then you boost it. Use specific targeting. You should not be trying to target everyone. Narrow it down. What is your business? Are you B2B? Are you B2C? Who is your people that you're trying to target? Are they business owners? Are they leaders? Are they IT? What are the demographics? Are they primarily male or females? So have a lot of that information ready to go. And if you're you've been doing your business for quite a while, you should have a lot of that information just right in your head. And then time it right. Boost posts at peak engagement times based on what is working and what is not working for your business. So every business is different, every industry, every platform, but look at your own analytics. You should be able to see exactly what times of day your posts get the most engagement and choose that as the time that you want to start your boosting. Like I said right here, look at your analytics to see when. Use clear call to actions. So you want to drive things more with like learn more, or book now, or message us, depending on what your actual messaging is. And then track and test. Like with all things marketing, you should always be tracking things, checking your analytics, checking your data, and then testing. You're not just going to set it and forget it and just leave it there and wonder why it didn't work. You need to be trying new things, looking at what worked, what didn't work, tracking, following things throughout the entire process, and then choosing boosts or posts to boost. Give me one moment here. So one type of format is video. These are great if you're trying to grab attention or you want to do storytelling. Some boosting tips for that is to add captions to those, because a lot of the time people might have video audio turned off on Facebook or Instagram, and you want them to be able to understand exactly what's going on right from the get-go. Carousel format boosts are also an important one to do. So carousels are where you see those images and they're in a line and you can kind of scroll left to right. Those are very frequently used on like apparel stores, like maybe a bunch of assorted hoodies, for example, products or step-by-steps. Each card could provide a different benefit overall. General image posts are great for boosting as well. They're great for events, promos, testimonials. One tip that we know that Facebook definitely wants you to do is keep the text to a minimum. So if you have an image on screen and it looks like a New York Times advertorial from the newspaper, that's too much text. You got to cut that down. It should have maybe one headline at most, and then the rest of your core content should be in the boosted post text up top. And then you could also just boost text-based organic posts as well. They will have limited results, and they're not necessarily always worthwhile for boosting, but there are cases where you might want to just have a text post and you want to get it out there. Maybe you're running an event and the day has changed and you just want to send out a quick little bulletin to people. That might be something worth boosting temporarily. I'm not saying that's what I would necessarily do, but it's a broad example of what you could do. And then I want to hammer this home again. Not all posts are worth boosting. Avoid boosting things just for basic announcements. I know I gave that example before, but it was just an example. Low engagement posts or posts with no CTAs or call to actions. Think of it like anything else. If I don't tell you what I want you to do, download this white paper, go to our website and contact us or something. If I don't have any of that in my post, boosting it isn't going to do much because I'm going to see it and I'm going to be like, I don't know what they want me to do. I'm just going to scroll by. My time's valuable. I'll move forward. So timing and frequency do matter as well. Boosting immediately after publishing a post is often less effective than letting it gather organic traction first. So you want to wait a little bit. It might seem counterintuitive. I want to get the ads going. I want to get it boosted ASAP. But this goes back to, we don't know if that post will do well. One of the most difficult things to get across to people when they're not necessarily always in a marketing mindset is sometimes what you think is a great post that should be popular and quote unquote go viral, for lack of a better term, might not be what gets people going. Some of the most mundane things are what have gone viral in the past. So give it about 24 to 48 hours and identify the content that you posted in that time frame that looks like it is starting to achieve a little bit of notice and notoriety. Then boost those winners to capitalize on the momentum and increase the social proof of those. And also avoid over boosting. If you boost or if you post several times a day, you don't want to boost everything, even if all of them are good. You want to pick the sole winners. So we really don't recommend boosting everything, and we don't recommend boosting, like, for example, 10 things at once. That's going to dilute your budget. It's going to dilute your focus. Facebook will only show you to so many people. And if you have lackluster boosted posts, that's taking up real estate that you can't afford to lose. So why boosting works. Boosting will help your strongest content reach more people beyond your existing audience. It's a simple, effective way to increase your awareness, promote events, and support lead nurturing by getting your message in front of the right people, not just more people. So all this is about reaching the right people, not more people, and it's about hitting them with things that are relevant to them. 70% of consumers say seeing a brand on social media increases trust and credibility. Now, I'm going to hit on something else here. When someone posts organically, if you only have 1,000 followers, you're not going to reach all of those followers with your organic posts. You're going to reach a fraction of them. And generally, you're not going to reach anybody for the most part outside of your follower count already. That is why boosting is invaluable. It gets you outside of your sphere of influence to people who don't know your brand yet. That is where boosting shines. And 61% of small business advertisers say social boosting has generated measurable revenue for them. Now, these were all brands that knew what boosting was and wasn't. Boosting is not going to be this thing that brings you a 40, 50 times ROI, for example. But what it will do is bring you to the right people when they're in their buying systems, when they're in the buying mindset, or when they're looking at your brand going, what is this brand about? Oh, I keep seeing them. Oh, yeah, I keep seeing that post. That's a good post. I'll check them out. Maybe I'll follow them and start looking at more of their things. Additional benefits. So by constantly boosting your highest performing content, you're signaling to the algorithm of these platforms. They all behave differently, but for the sake of organic reach, it's effectively all the same, for lack of so we don't go into a huge debate on this. But it'll let them know who your audience is. If Kenny and myself, one of us really loves soccer, the other one doesn't, but we're both getting boosted soccer ads from your page, and I'm engaging with it and Kenny's not, the platforms and algorithms are going to learn John here is an avid soccer fan. We're going to show that boost to him more so he's more familiar with your product and your brand. We're going to show him more soccer-based things. And hey, you're a soccer-based page, I'm going to potentially see more of your stuff. Whereas Kenny, he's more of a football guy. He's not going to see your soccer-based ads after a little while. So you're helping the algorithm see what does and doesn't work for your business and your page. So it'll help you, like I said, what topics work as well. And then what content gets results. So also, LinkedIn is a phenomenal place. Typically, we like to do our boosting primarily on Facebook and LinkedIn because of our VSL program. But we do know that LinkedIn boosting is also a very smart way to do it as well. LinkedIn ads can be very expensive. If you've never run Facebook or LinkedIn ads, let me tell you, $10 to $20 per click, per campaign is really still on the low end for LinkedIn. Sometimes we've seen ads upwards of $30, $40 per click. That's just somebody that clicks on the ad. That's not even an actual conversion yet at that point. But you can do boosting on LinkedIn, and boosting is dramatically cheaper on there because it's not a full ad campaign. It's kind of an interesting gray area on LinkedIn, for example. So you can still boost your organic high-value social posts, and you can advertise natively. You benefit from the trust of the organic content because people can see that post directly on your page, whereas an ad on LinkedIn, you can't really go find the ad after the fact. It just is there, and then it's not. And then they're great for B2B lead generation. A lot of our clients find that boosting on LinkedIn, for example, is way better and a way better bang for their buck than doing a traditional advertising campaign. So, how boosted awareness drives leads. Boosting builds that familiarity that I'm trying to hit on. People who see your brand repeatedly are more likely to buy. Think of it like anything else. When you go to the store, you automatically know I'm going to go buy a Pepsi or a Coca-Cola product because you're familiar with those. You're less familiar with RC Cola. I mean, I haven't seen RC Cola in years, so that should tell you something. 80% of sales require at least 5 to 8 touch points. And honestly, I think the numbers just got adjusted again, and it's really more like 9 to 12, give or take, depending on your industry and what your business is. But every time you launch a boosted post for pennies on the dollar, that's one of your touch points that you need to hit historically. Like I said, your boosted posts allow you to create those low-cost touch points rather than a LinkedIn full ad campaign, for example. They also allow retargeting later with ads to those who engaged. So retargeting, just to be very brief, is where someone has been put into a metaphorical bucket of people who have engaged with your page, your items, your content in some way already, and they are now put in that metaphorical bucket where we're going to send dedicated retargeting ads to them. Think of it like a call out. Like, for example, if you've seen a Coca-Cola ad, for example, I'm going to keep going with that one for right now. And then Coca-Cola keeps sending me more ads saying, like, don't you want a refreshing Coke? That's a retargeting campaign because they saw that you were interested, and they're going to keep hitting you and hitting you for the next couple days or weeks with retargeting. So it's boosting is a great way to build that retargeting list. And the beauty of retargeting, not to go too far into the retargeting rabbit hole, is that it is a cheaper ad than a standard one-touch ad as well. So ultimately, huge benefits of Boost is the marketing funnel integration. Use your boosted posts as top of the funnel tools and then retarget to those who engage with lead generation ads after the fact. So from boosted posts to real revenue, these are a few examples that I'll show in just a second from real clients. We've taken away a lot of identifiable information for their own sakes, but we did have client A They had a yearly boosted post campaign going, and here's their performance. Over 100 boosted posts throughout the year. So that's about 2 posts per week on average, give or take. Their cost per click was only about $1.22. They've reached 42,000 people of actual engaged people, not just impressions, and they generated 189 leads. Now, these boosted posts and boosted campaigns are very low cost and very specific. All of our clients right now are very industry specific, manufacturing for the most part. So there's not a lot of audience. We're not talking about millions of people that we have to target. We're talking about hundreds of thousands throughout a year. So reaching 42,000 people and getting 189 leads from that, phenomenal. And then client B, boosted posts versus traditional ads. This is a different client altogether. In just a few days of when they launched a new boosted campaign, they got 4 cheaper cost per lead boosted post conversions than their own ad campaign did in that same time frame. And then boosting posts does not need to be hard. You can literally just go to your chat GPT or any AI that you prefer using and just tell it something as simple as this prompt right here. I want to create a $20 boosted campaign to promote my product or service. Ask me relevant questions to respond to reinforce what I need. Include copy tips, targeting strategy, timing, and how to track results. Your AI, whatever it is, whether you like ChatGPT, you like Grok, you like Gemini, will spit back to you and start a conversation with you about what is important to you, what's relevant to your customers, and will get you thinking on things that even if you're not a marketer or an advertiser, that it will ask you for information so it can move forward from there. All right. And then here we are at the end. So final thoughts, boosting isn't just easy. It's also a smart thing to do. So I'm going to open up the floor for anyone if you have any questions, and we'll go ahead and answer anything you have on boosting or anything else that I brought up during the webinar. So you feel free to either type it into the chat, or if you have a microphone, just go ahead and unmute yourself and go ahead and ask it.
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we're in the vinyl record industry,
Mhm.
and just curious as to, and we're a new business, so just curious as to what types of boosting that we should do, and how to find out when the best time is. And I know you said to let your post be online for a little bit before you do any extra boosting to see what's working a little bit. I'm just looking for any ideas for a small startup that's in that industry. If you have anything, any thoughts?
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit more? Are you selling vinyl or are you recording on vinyl?
Yeah, we're selling vinyl records.
Okay.
Used or new, or both?
Could you say that again?
Used vinyl, new vinyl, or are you doing both?
Both.
Both.
And also videos about musicians, and we're doing a lot of educating people about the neuroscience around music and how that's beneficial to from infants to adults and animals, and just trying to have a different spin on not just selling the vinyl, but also educating people.
I'll go ahead and take a crack at this. Kenny, you can fill in the blanks if there's anything that you think of. But when I think of anything vinyl, so that's I'm thinking like music, I'm thinking audio. So modifying that to today's world, I'm thinking that needs to be a lot of video organic that you should be putting out there if you are not already. So first off, short videos, kind of just going over, explaining your product, your services. If you have new inventory or if you have partnerships with bands or artists and whatnot without knowing the full scope of your business, getting that out there, creating interesting content around there. Because it's one thing to tell me that somebody sells vinyl products. It's another thing to hear it, for example. And then I would go really on a lot of educational content as well, letting people know why vinyl, of all things, is coming back in the last 15 years, because it's literal analog audio versus digital. people don't really understand that, whereas I know a lot of the audio files really do like and appreciate that. So if you just created content, video content all around that, and then after you release the content, so let's say you have a content calendar, every day you put out one video on some sort of topic. Within the next day or two, on your same content calendar, set a reminder. Go check. So what is today? Wednesday? Go check up and look at your analytics. How did my Monday post do? Is it gaining traction? Is it doing better than some of my other previous posts that I've run in the same time span? If you use Facebook, for example, you can track all that just on the Facebook page tools. See if it's gotten any sort of traction more than it normally has. And a lot of times you'll get like a notification from these platforms saying this post posted on this day is really doing well. They even suggest boosting a lot of those a lot of the time. But that's really what I suggest. Get your videos out there if you want to do audio files as well, but I think video is more engaging overall for people. Check them a few days after they've been posted organically. And if anything started really reaching the full saturation of your current follower list, like 70, 80+% of those people, that would be one that I really want to get out there. Or if it really started getting a lot of engagement, a lot of people posting, a lot of people sharing or tagging their friends and family on it, or colleagues, those are the ones that I would boost personally. You boost them. I would probably boost them, depending on what the post is, for a couple days, maybe the remainder of that week, for example. But I'd always make sure your posts have some sort of call to action, because the videos are great, but you should have some sort of call to action. You know, if you want to listen to this in person, we're doing a full listening event at our storefront this upcoming Saturday. And then that would be your CTA, your call to action at that point. Kenny, is there anything you would add to that?
Yeah, I would say just make sure you're doing a variety. I wouldn't do all your just educational boosts. Do a variety of boosts. One of the things I was just thinking as I was listening to you and John speak is I'm thinking as me, I like music, and I actually have gotten back into buying vinyl from buying it as a child. I really like it, but I was thinking something that would appeal to me would be something like, what is our record of the day, and just kind of highlight a record and find one of those that engages with people and boost that as well. It's just kind of a way to kind of show off the inventory a little bit, as well as just kind of get that discussion with audiophiles, especially if it's a rare record that you might have in your store that people might find interesting, or even if it's a new one that people might find interesting. They create the discussion, because I think for you, it's really the discussion. It's getting people to know you exist, getting people to discuss the inventory you have, discuss the educational content you have, because the more that discussion goes on, the more your foot traffic into the actual store will occur, or online sales if you have those.
Thank you both. I really appreciate the feedback and recommendations.
No problem at all. Do you have any other questions for us, Karen?
No, not at this time. I learned some things. I really appreciate the time.
Oh, no problem at all. It's a pleasure having you on here. We always have a chance sometimes, depending on how many people show up. Sometimes we get dozens, sometimes we get only a few people. So it's always nice to have a little conversation. But I think we're going to wrap it up here. Karen, you will get an email from Emory Day in the next day or so, just with a recap of this recorded podcast here, or webinar, sorry. And you'll also get an email if you want to schedule any sort of marketing strategy meetings with our team, but no pressure whatsoever. It's been a pleasure having you, and I think we'll wrap it up here. So thank you, everyone, for coming today. I've been John Rickey, and we have Kenny Norton, Director of Advertising. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care
you
now.
for attending, Karen.